Marriage Story is the new film from Noah Baumbach. It's a Netflix film and it's in cinemas at the moment, and I think it's hitting Netflix on the 6th of December. Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson are a married couple who work together making off-Broadway productions in the theatre in New York, and they are going through a divorce. Initially, they say they want everything to be done amicably. They don't want to use lawyers, but as lawyers do get dragged into things, it becomes messier. It becomes clear that they want different things out of the divorce, and everything becomes increasingly hostile. They find themselves caught up in a tug of war between the East Coast and the West Coast, with their son, Henry, stuck in the middle. Now, probably the premise makes you think of Kramer versus Kramer, and there definitely is something of a Kramer versus Kramer about the whole thing. But actually, the film that this made me think of the most was Annie Hall. Certainly, the idea of a critically acclaimed avant-garde theatre director married to his talented leading actress, and they kind of live in America where there are only two cities seem to exist. It seems to be either New York or LA, and that comprises the whole United States. That all certainly feels very Woody Allen. But where Annie Hall was steeped in kind of neuroses, with Marriage Story, Baumbach is really trying to get at the human center of it. And actually, it's quite remarkable how good-spirited this film manages to remain, even as the divorce proceedings become more and more embittered. And the key really to that is that neither of these characters are presented as the villain. You can understand both of them. They both feel like real people. You get the sense that maybe Charlie was a bit more instrumental in the divorce coming about. He was perhaps selfish, didn't really give Nicole the chance to grow as a person she wants to be. And you can then you can empathize and understand where and why Nicole wants a divorce. She seems to be the kind of driving force, and she finds herself what she wants to go to LA, and she wants to move there with her son. Charlie wants to stay in New York, and you can understand that she feels as though she's kind of been a sidekick to his career this whole time. And at the same time, you can sympathize with Charlie, who is a guy that feels like the rug's just been pulled out from under his feet. Is the dog walking behind me there? I'm looking after a friend's dog, so you might hear him in the background. Say hello. Huh? Yes, it's camera. Good boy. Charlie feels like someone who's had the rug pulled out from under his feet. He was under the impression that no lawyers were going to be used, and then Nicole gets a lawyer and he finds himself scrabbling to have to get one. He thought that so Nicole is in LA because she has a pilot for a TV show, and the understanding was that once the pilot had been done, they were going to go back to New York. They were going to sort the divorce out in New York. And Charlie's understanding was they were going to stay there for the sake of not uprooting Henry's life. But now Nicole is deciding that she wants to stay in LA. The television series has been picked up for season, and she wants to stay there and take Henry there with her. And yet the thing is, neither of them are wrong. They both are clinging desperately to the life that they have, the life that they want, the relationship that they want to maintain with their son. And it were and through it all, they're trying to remain mature. They're trying to be honest with each other. And you do get a sense of the fact that these two people really did love each other. We're kind of looking back at this relationship through the lens of its destruction. And even as it reaches its kind of most brutal nadir, we still sense that there was love between these two people, and perhaps there still is. And in a lot of ways, it's that echo of the life that they used to share that makes what's happening feel so tragic. Neither one of them really wants to be doing what they're doing. In a lot of ways, they can't even believe that they found themselves in the situation that they're in. Adam Driver's character at one point says that he feels like he's in a dream. It really doesn't feel as they had a vision of how this would turn out. You know, they didn't want to be vicious. They didn't want to be cruel. That's kind of how other people do divorces. They were going to do it amicably. They were going to do it like grown-ups. And they seem to sort of surprise themselves with the depths that they're willing to go to. But you can totally understand the whole time that it is through a desperation, wanting to cling on to the relationship that each of them has with their son. And that really proves to be the pivotal point in the battle. It kind of really comes down to a custody battle. And there's this, it seems to be sidetracked by this idea of it being New York or LA, but that's not really what it's about. What it's about is that neither one of them wants to find themselves separated by an entire nation from their child, and for that child to then almost forget who they are, and their relationship to kind of become so perfunctory, as opposed to really being able to see that child grow up. And so from that desperation comes a certain viciousness, which neither of them really knew they had in them. And there are moments in the film when you can see that they sort of hate themselves for what they have found themselves prepared to do in this divorce battle. And yet, even while that's happening, neither of them hate the other. And we, as an audience, don't hate either of them. They are real people. They have flaws, they have problems, but above all, they are human. And the driving force behind that is the performances from the two leads. Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson are both superb. They bring such depth and sensitivity to the characters that they're playing. It really doesn't feel as though they've stepped into the shoes of another character. It feels as though they've created a person. It is real human people coming to life on the screen in front of you. The writing has a big hand in that as well. It's all sort of naturalistic dialogue, but the humanity that the actors are able to bring to their roles is truly remarkable. There's a scene they have together, like a big scene sort of in the middle of the movie, and it's them having a big argument, like a huge argument, the kind of argument that you feel like you're never going to have with another person. And they're shouting at each other and they're hurling abuse and vitriol. And most of it is just the kind of abuse that people throw at each other when they're in an argument. It's just designed to hurt, and there's not really any truth behind it. But occasionally in there will be a few true things coming out. They do kind of hint at some truths. And the really incredible thing and the genius in these performances is that as an audience, you can tell which is which. And elsewhere, I mean, Baumbach is proving again that he's just a great actor's director. The whole ensemble give stellar performances. Ray Liotta, Alan Alda, Julie Hegarty, Merritt Weaver, they're all spot on with their work in this film. There's a really great one-scene performance from Martha Kelly, and it's really very funny. And all of the comedy of it comes completely from her physical performance. I mean, she doesn't really have very many lines at all, and yet the way she carries herself, she's able to sort of get a laugh out of her posture. It's quite amazing, really. A special mention has to go to Laura Dern, who plays Scarlett Johansson's divorce lawyer, and she is wonderful. She's having something of a career resurgence in the last couple of years since she did Big Little Lies, and she's just proving here yet again that she can basically handle anything you throw at her. She's proven that she has real comedy chops as well as dramatic acting ability. She's the kind of deadpan comedy element in the film, and she just delivers so many wonderful lines, perfect timing, just wonderful sense of comedy. And she's a real talent, and she kind of doesn't seem to be bad in anything, to be honest. And the film is funny. The film is genuinely funny. It does have this kind of deadpan humor throughout. Baumbach manages to find humor both through the writing and also just through a cut or a camera move. He sort of punctuates the film and creates a rhythm in which he can draw laughs out of even the most dramatic scenes. It's a film that straddles a few genres. It's at once a family drama, a courtroom drama, a sort of almost a screwball comedy. There's one scene in which divorce papers are being served and it approaches slapstick, and it is genuinely very funny. It's also tragic and genuine and humane, and it feels intensely personal. This is a relationship that feels like a true relationship. It would be so easy in a film like this to drift towards caricature, but Baumbach never does, and the actors never do either. They completely take seriously who these people are. It remains sincere and honest all the way through. The film is well directed, well written, well shot. There's a terrific score from Randy Newman, which just proves to be the perfect accompaniment for the film. And then at the center of it all, and really shining above everything else, is just impeccably acted with two of the strongest lead performances that I think we're likely to see this year, and probably two high watermarks for two fantastic actors working at the very top of their game. It is a film that will make you laugh and then it will tear you apart. It is a really tremendous piece of work.